Hello, ladies and gentlemen. MarauderEX here. Again. I truly cannot believe we are having this conversation. Again. So I woke up this morning to a conversation between a couple of my friends on Twitter about Sega and Dreamcast 2 and the same ridiculous level of bullshit that I just do not understand why it keeps being brought up. And I'm like, okay, nothing else came from it, nothing else. And just now, I'm browsing Facebook, and Facebook little ticker thing for news says Sega Dreamcast 2. I'm like, okay, this is probably what they were referencing to. Let me click on this and see what it is. And it's a story from Kotaku saying how Sega's not working on another Dreamcast. This is what's actually going on. What's going on is yet another goddamn fan petition on change.org. Because this place isn't littered with them. Search Sega Dreamcast on change.org. I guarantee you, I think the results were something like 244. It was ridiculous. It's stupid. But this one particular petition, because it also has a Facebook group attached to it, and this and that and the other, was liked by Yu Suzuki, maybe? It was someone formerly of Sega who was really important and really influential, likes this fan page. And then it just started spreading. Oh my god, they're doing it again, and this group's got the okay. The person who's in charge of that, linked in the, or mentioned in the Kotaku article, there are two names. I'm not going to name them because it's the only reason why I know it is because I've had to search this amount of crap to do actual research. Back when I actually was on the official Sega forums, I contacted Clumsy Orchid, former community relations manager on the Sega forums, to verify some of this stuff, because back when I worked for Rainfall, there was a lot of talk about this, and again, every year there's talk about this. And I had all of this information to be like, okay, this is all the stuff that's being put out there. I know it's the internet. I can guarantee you 90% of it's not true. What of this can you specifically axe at the moment, just so that I can cut this list down? And one of the people on that list was a user by the name of Mr. Sega, or Tornado 1994, or like there's a half a dozen names, because this person has been banned from every Sega forum for spouting this ridiculous amount of copy-paste bullshit of patents and how they completely understand IP law, and they've gone completely a beautiful mind about it. I've made this comment before. One of the people on this petition is them. One of the people running this fan page is them. It's the same person. Every goddamn year we get the same crap. I actually commented on one of Review Tech USA's videos, because was talking about this again when the petition first surfaced about a week ago almost, and I commented that at this point Sega has been out of the console industry almost as long as they were through the entirety of their console business, starting from the Master System, ending with the Dreamcast. They're a year short of being out of the industry the same amount of time that they were in the industry as a whole. That means there is more than one generation of gamers that do not know them as a console manufacturer, that do not know their console history, and don't care. And yet people still think that Sega's going to miraculously come back and be the second coming. I have to ask this. I have to ask this to anyone watching this. What about a Sega console would make them better than what they are today? What about having a centralized console means that they would actually develop IPs and actually release them outside of Japan? They have games. They have Shining Series. They have Phantasy Star. Phantasy Star Online 2 has been MIA for, 3-4 years now? What about having a console would change that? What about having a console means that it's suddenly able for them to release games that they already have in existence? Or make games that are pipe dreams to anyone else? I would love to see a Skies of Arcadia 2. But realistically speaking, it's probably going to happen on a PS4 or an Xbox One. I don't understand why having a Dreamcast 2 or some other mystical, magical console from Sega would guarantee a Skies of Arcadia 2. I don't get it. And I don't understand what Sega could bring to the console industry that would actually do well. The console industry is not a healthy industry at the moment. It really isn't. Look at how slow next-gen console sales were. Look at the sales of the Wii U. Not that it's the most powerful, but even the Xbox One and the PS4 got off to a really slow start. And what about having a new console competing with these three, and especially since Nintendo's going to be kicking out the NX, possibly next year? What about this seems like a stable market, and why would a company that, has just now slowly been recouping their costs? And even then, if you want to look at the actual financials, Sega, the games division, has not really been making that much money. It's the pachinko industry that's making a lot of money. And even then, they had to cut, estimated profits, like actual profits, by like 90%. Because it's not a good industry right now. It's like, that's... Nothing about this makes any sense. And it just riles me up so much that people are just so obsessed with this. I understand, I get it. I really do. I loved, past tense, Sega as a console manufacturer. I was a Sega fanboy. I had the Genesis, I had a Game Gear, I had a Saturn, I have a Dreamcast. The Saturn is my favorite console of all time. That's why I love doing things like Shining Force 3, because those were the games that I grew up with. And all my other friends had an N64 or PS1 or whatever. I had the Saturn. But I know the Saturn, or the Sega that made the Genesis, the Game Gear, the Saturn, the Dreamcast, that's not the same Sega that's there today. None of the same talent is there. Or if they are, they're not doing anything at the moment. I don't understand what about making a new console will magically make them the Sega of the 90s and early 2000s. I don't get this. I really don't. And I don't want to knock on anyone's dreams, but it's getting old. Every year I see another petition, another rumor. It's gotten to the point where so many forums have just completely outright stopped allowing Sega console rumors because it just got so obnoxious. And it's fueled by people like this who just sit here and spout 16 pages of IP, like copyright BS that in the documents state anything from like leashes, curtains, like can openers to video game machines. But because this is video game machines, it has to be accurate. Not that Sega is going to brand a Dreamcast can opener. That's completely unlikely, but the console is. And it's that ignoring of facts and features that just, it's the cherry picking, the picking and choosing, and the running with this particular idea, and this is the only right idea, and you just don't understand the law. That's not... It just makes any fan base, when you have a group like this, it just makes that fan base look psychotic. And psychotic fan bases are not fan bases that companies really want to cater to. You don't want to cater to the crazy. You want to cater to the average consumer. Average consumer may be crazy, but at least it's a little, muddled. So, I don't get it. I know that this is a story that's happening today. All the other news sites that I've seen talk about it are just like, yeah, no, it's not. They're not. This is just a fan page that got liked by someone. They haven't even talked to Sega yet. And if they do, I guarantee you what the end result is going to be. Sega does not take submissions from fans. If you had like a Kickstarter with a ton of capital, to say, yeah, we want to do this, and bring back, one of your old consoles to remanufacture for, maybe, but you're not going to get anything new for it. Or if you do get something new, it's going to be few and far between. Why... Using the Pure Solar as the example, Pure Solar is a great game that came out on the Dreamcast after coming out on every modern console and Steam. It was originally on the Genesis. It was they hard coded it for the Genesis. That was their first project, and then they made an HD version of it for all these other consoles. The Dreamcast was the last version to be released because it was so hard to troubleshoot. You wanted to make sure as many bugs as possible were not in the final release, so that people could have a playable game. Because you can't patch the Dreamcast version, and they're not going to send out multiple versions to fix patches to people who got it, if they can avoid it. So the Dreamcast version came out almost like 3 years after the initial release. Like, it took forever. I was sitting there waiting patiently for my copy. What makes you think any other company is going to put that much effort into it when they can just release it on PS4, Xbox One, Wii U, Steam, and be done with it? What makes you think another a console that cannot get updates at all is going to be viable for them in the long run? These are my takes on it. If you have any other, information that might, say why a Dreamcast version of a game might be better than, a PSN or Xbox Arcade or whatever version, let me know. But I can't see this, nothing about it makes sense. If you want to develop a game for a Dreamcast, you could, because, the architecture's out there, but you could probably develop for the same budget, develop for multiple systems and have a better chance of recouping the cost. So I don't see why anyone would want to make a new Dreamcast, or why they would want to make a Dreamcast 2 when, unless it's going to be comparable specs and easy to port between a PS4 and an Xbox One and PC, I don't see any reason why that would exist. I don't get this. I really don't. And frankly, it is frustrating to see the same names of people. The fact that I have to be one of the other people, there are several people out there that say, yeah, no, Sega's not doing this. Can you guys please shut up? But it's really disheartening to see the exact same crazy people spout crazy and just in their own world be as right as rain. But when anyone points out any sort of logic that doesn't mesh with their viewpoint, they just don't understand. They're wrong. They don't it doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. And it's really disheartening that is what people see when they see fan bases. When people think of Sega fans, these are the people that are brought up. And it's depressing. And I hate that people still, to this day, have to say, yeah, no, this isn't happening. I would love it to happen. Actually, no, I probably wouldn't, because I don't like Sega as a company right now. They are starting to do better, but they still have not fixed any of the problems from the last 15 years that they have created, in terms of pissing off fan bases, ignoring fan bases, doing almost irreparable PR damage. They have not even begun to touch these things, because the Japanese market, which is in control of Sega, does not care. They do not have a customer's always right mindset. It's a very different way of thinking, and until they, at least try to make amends, I wouldn't support them. I haven't supported them. I've wanted the HD version of Nights into Dreams. I've wanted Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing. I've wanted the HD Valkyria Chronicles. These are all things that I would love to have, but I'm not buying because I'm not giving them my money. And if they came out with a Dreamcast 2 tomorrow, I still wouldn't buy it, because I do not trust them as far as I can throw them. They do not understand the market. They do not understand their fan bases. And I can't imagine that it would be a successful venture. But that's enough of my ranting for now. I'll post some links to the various articles in the video description. You can go check it out. Like I said, if there's anything that I'm missing about this that has not already been covered, and this person is crazy before, that I'd be willing to at least, consider it, but I really don't think that anyone can find, reputable evidence that shows that this is even a remote possibility, regardless of who likes it. Because, unless the president of Sega Japan likes the post and posts, yeah, we kind of want to do this, it's a pipe dream. That's the long and short of it. So, I'm going to go. Because I gotta go wash my eyes out with bleach or I don't know. I gotta do something to get my mind off of this crazy. So, yeah. I will catch you guys later. Till then, later everyone.